I rarely watch TV shows or movies that depict spies or spy agencies because usually they get something fundamental really, really wrong, and then I get really angry, my head explodes, and it's just no fun. So here's an example. Somebody brought to my attention this week there's this old episode from a TV show called The Good Wife, season 7, episode 19, where Canada's Foreign Signals Intelligence Agency, CSE, is depicted. And I read the synopsis, and sure enough, they got stuff completely wrong. So I want to do a little debunking today because I think it's kind of fun. So here's the premise of the episode. There's this guy, Jeff, and he used to work for NSA, and he stole a bunch of classified stuff, and then he's up in Canada. I don't know how that happened, but it doesn't matter. He wants to go back down to Arizona to go to his mom's funeral. And as a lot of Canadians know, we have US Customs and border whatever up in our airport. So he goes to the airport to fly, and he crosses into the US section, and they're going to arrest him for espionage. So he steps back into Canada and calls his lawyer, and immediately NSA is monitoring everything. And I think there's a story about that in the show, but I don't know. But because he's in Canada now, CSE is monitoring everything too. And then she figures out that these two intelligence agencies are monitoring everything that's happened. And so she kind of plants this seed because the guy, they're trying to fight the extradition, and then they're trying to get him asylum. So she says, oh, the US doesn't want Canada to have this guy because of the knowledge he has of how NSA works. And apparently CSE hears that. And they're like, oh my God, yes, that's exactly what they want. And they grant him asylum, and boom, episode's over. Whew. Well, here are the 3 things they got completely wrong. First of all, CSE cannot direct its activities at Canadians or persons in Canada ever. Full stop. It doesn't happen. Legislation, policy, even how the systems are designed. No Canadians anywhere in the world, no persons in Canada, no matter their nationality. CSE doesn't do that. Okay. The other thing they got really wrong was that they mischaracterize how signals intelligence works. So general rule of thumb, there are definitely particulars that kind of push up into exceptions, but general rule of thumb, here's how it works. In signals intelligence, you collect first and then you target. In human intelligence, you target first and then you collect. So if you're going to be like going after some person and putting a bug on their phone, that is human intelligence. How signals intelligence work is they have these access points. I've done other videos about this. They'll collect up undersea cables or internet choke points or phone lines. Doesn't matter. They have bulk collection. And then they go in and target on that collection. Now in Canada, in case you're worried, we filter out all the Canadian stuff from the stuff we collect, and then people can go in and target it. Bulk collection. You collect first and then you target. General rule of thumb. And the last thing, because I think this is really funny, this idea that we want to know how NSA works. Okay, CSE and NSA have had a really great relationship for about 80 years. Everybody at CSE deals with people at NSA all the time. I went down there a bunch of times. Everybody does. All CSE has to do is aggregate the information held in their employees' heads, and they know exactly how NSA works. They don't need a whistleblower to do it. And you'd think, obviously, if they did, Edward Snowden might have ended up in Montreal instead of Moscow. Any questions, let me know. Anything else you want me to debunk, let me know. Otherwise, hope you're doing great. Bye.